Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Smoke again with another game of domination on Modern Warfare 3, again on Resistance. You're probably looking at this thinking, wow, this game looks pretty familiar to one of the other ones that you had posted up. And yeah, it is. It's Resistance again. It is domination again. But it plays differently. And that kind of leads me to the topic that I wanted to go over in this video. And that is switching up your style of play. And it's not even necessarily the style of play in general, but it's also your classes. Normally I would be talking about switching up classes later in the shelf life of a game when you're trying to look for ways to keep the game fresh. In Black Ops, for those of you who know me or followed my games or anything like that, or even some of my previous 30-second clips on YouTube, you know that I was doing the 1,000 kill challenge with all primaries, secondaries, and attachments. And that was for no other reason than just keep the game fresh and offer replayability into the game. For this game, when I talk about switching it up, it is more in tune with finding what works for your style of play and ultimately what you're trying to accomplish. Now, for most of us who have put hundreds, if not thousands, of hours into the COD series, you would think that the newest edition of the game, you would kind of just be able to stick with what had worked in the past, make your cookie-cutter classes, and have no problem whatsoever in just picking up any gun and doing well with it. And there are people who literally can do just fine with any weapon, perk, proficiency, kill streak, point streak combination under the sun. And then there's others who really need to work with the options to see what works best, and that involves some experimentation. Now, I'm no mathematician, but if you look at all the different possibilities that exist in this game for making a class, you do the math and you'll find that there's about a shit ton of possibilities when making a class. So it goes without saying that your first couple tries, you may not get what works best for you. And for me, that's been an adjustment. When I first started playing this game, I really thought I could just make a generic SMG class, a generic sniper rifle class, assault rifle class, and things like that. But when I got into it and I started trying to use these classes, you know, they may have worked, but I didn't feel like I was getting the full potential that I could out of particular classes. And part of the things that complicated that were the point streaks. You've got 3 different tiers of point streaks, you've got a bunch of different streaks to run within those tiers, and finding the perfect class that goes with the perfect point streak, I really struggled with that. And to start, you only get the 5 custom classes. I have changed these custom classes. I can't tell you how many times. I'll do it after each game. And if you watch my other domination video on Resistance, I'll go ahead and maybe attach that as a video response to this video. This game plays significantly different than that one. And that's because I'm running a different assault strike package. I'm running a different secondary. So I went ahead and said, you know what? I'm having a hard time in these close quarter situations. A lot of these maps kind of funnel you into those type of situations. And, you know, I can do fine with a pistol as a secondary. I've done that in the past. I only have an issue with it. But because you die so fast in this game, the weapon damages are up. I thought, you know what? I'll go ahead. I'll use overkill. I'll kind of make it a Modern Warfare 2-ish type setup to where I'm running a shotgun as a secondary. And after I went ahead and threw the striker on as my secondary, it's made a world of difference. I can use that striker as an offensive means instead of a means of last resort. So I can go ahead and push at these guys, or if I'm being confronted by a few enemies at once, I have no problem whipping out that striker and taking those guys out. So right away, it's just the added element of flexibility. And when you start taking things into consideration, like different weapon proficiencies, you may be able to use a weapon proficiency that takes the place of a perk, which opens things up for you. For instance, with this class, initially I was using steady aim so that I could get the most benefit out of using the striker and hip firing it. Well, you know, that was good, but it took away from me being able to use that sniper rifle as an offensive means. Here I totally mess up. So I decided, all right, I'm going to use that striker for a bit, and I got the grip for it. So once I had the grip, then I was able to go back and take steady aim off and put marksman back on. So now I get to hold the breath longer. I get to spot enemies from a farther distance. You get the little red name popping up, and for sniping, that makes a big difference. So now I've got kind of the best of both worlds with this class. I've got good offensive, heavy firepower in the striker. If you haven't used a striker yet, I mean, you could get away with using it as a primary and have no problem whatsoever. But it's really a monster of a class. You play domination, you capture some flags, you play defensively on those flags, you've got good long-range distance on the sniper rifle, you've got good heavy kick as an offensive or a defensive means with the striker, and you've got a great class. I wasn't able to get it right off the bat, but I got to it after messing around with classes. So switch it up, guys. Find out what works for you. Find out what works best. I wish I could tell you how well I did at the end of this game, but conveniently I get a host dashboard. But as always, guys, thanks for watching.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.